Hello everyone and welcome to MBAP. In this video, we are going to talk about that how can you improve your verbal ability scores in the last 45 days. Yes, what happens with a lot of students is that verbal ability becomes all about reading, and when you are not able to improve on your reading more, that is where students get stuck, okay, and they think that their scores is not improving. So yes, there are ways where if at all you're not good with your reading skills also, you can still do something to improve your scores there, okay. And in this video, I'm going to share about those techniques for students who are not good with their reading skills. How can you improve your scores in these final 45 days? So make sure that you have followed, you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Instagram so that you get daily updates. In fact, every day 8 p.m. we have the live lecture that happens, okay. 8 p.m. we have the CAT live lecture that happens, so you can attend that live class also. Now, understand what is the approach that I'm going to talk about. So VA200 is the approach, okay, and who should follow this approach? This is also important, okay. For students who believe that they have tried everything, but verbal is not improving, their verbal scores are not improving, their mock scores are not improving, those are one type of student who should follow this approach that I'm talking about. Second, I can't develop reading habit now. I've tried everything. I've tried to read a lot of books, okay, but then every time I read 10 pages, 12 pages, and I leave it in between. I do not continue with reading habit. I'm not able to do that 1 hour non-stop reading, okay, every day. Sir, I do this for 7 days, 10 days, but then after that I leave it. For those type of students, okay, for those type of students, this approach that I'm telling you is definitely going to help you to increase your scores and definitely at least cross the 90 percentile, okay, the 90 percentile benchmark in the verbal section. Now, what are you supposed to do? I'm going to get into the details of it in the next slide, okay, but here I'm going to talk about at a higher level that there are very standard type of verbal ability questions, okay, that comes in CAT. And if you stick to the basics, okay, if you stick to the basics, it is kind of very easy to crack at least the verbal ability part. If not the RCs, okay, at least the verbal ability part, those standard type of questions which comes in CAT, just stick to the basic. Now, what are these basic things that you need to stick to? I'll come back to that in the next slide. How are you going to do that? You are going to practice the same type of questions again and again, okay, again and again, do the same type of question. Why are you doing it? Because you have to master this approach that I'm going to share with you, okay. So these are the basic pointers that you have to work on. Now let us get into the detail of it. Now understand, verbal ability is a mix of para jumble, para completion, odd man out, and para summary. What you have to do next is in the next 45 days, you have to complete solving 50, 50, 50, and 50 questions, each of these four types. Now the approach, if you see, in most of the cases you will have these basic four approaches which will be followed, and this will be applied. In fact, if I tell you to all my MBAP students who have been attending the workshops and everything for the past 1 month that we are running on CAT, you will see that all the verbal ability lectures wherein we solved para jumble, para completion, odd man out, or para summary kind of questions, we had these four approaches majorly repeating. Now what do you have to learn here? Okay, what do you have to learn here? Each of the approaches. So what is that? Noun pronoun approach, a pretty basic approach, okay, that is applied in para jumbles, where you see that the noun will be used in the initial sentences or the opening sentence, and later on it's more of the pronoun which is used. Same idea approach. Now this is a very important approach, okay, which is required even in para jumbles, where you know that the next sentence should have the right set of idea being in continuation. You should have the right idea which should complete the paragraph here. If there's any idea which is not in sync with the other sentences, that is an odd man out. Para summary obviously should have the gist of it. So the same idea approach, okay, is a very crucial thing. Now where do students lack? Students lack in applying this. Hence I'm saying, whenever you are solving, okay, you are solving 50 questions from the CAT papers, and then writing down the approach of each of the questions, okay, writing down the approach. What is the approach here? How did I get this sentence? You will see the same approach repeating. The same approach is repeating again and again, and that is where, okay, that is where I would tell you that you have to master this approach. And definitely this is possible if you are doing this 50 questions on the CAT questions back to back again and again. Even if you have done with it once, okay, I would tell you to repeat that so that you write down these approaches and see that how you are able to, where you're going wrong, and you will master that. In fact, just the opposite of this is called irrelevant context approach. Many times there are sentences which is completely irrelevant to the passage, okay, irrelevant to the flow of the content. Those which is kind of, you can say, opposite, or just negating the same idea. So these kind of things are there. And then use of vocabulary is also very important. Okay, if there is something, okay, a same idea is being supported again and again, you will have a certain type of words which is used to support an idea. Okay, if there's something against or some words which is not in sync with the other vocabulary which is used, that is also a good approach to get the right answer. So if these four approaches you are working on in the last 45 days, solving 50 questions of each of the four types, you'll be done with close to 200 questions. You do that for the last 45 days. I am not telling you to work on RCs. Why? Because I see that, okay, this is not so. Let me clarify, this is only for those students who are weak in verbal ability. They think that the scores are not improving, they are not good with the RCs and all that. So if at all you want to skip RC, or you don't want to do much of RC, just one RC you want to attempt the exam, what you should focus on is the verbal ability part. And how and what is what we just discussed on this. Okay, and this is where you can definitely increase your scores, and that is going to help you at least cross the 90 percentile cutoff of most of the IMs, and get a call from at least one IM, at least. Okay, so I hope you guys like the video. Please do share it with your friends so that more people can benefit from it, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. All the best.